is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
In the headlines, first, China criticized U.S. actions on Cuba, Iran, Greenland, Venezuela, and trade, reaffirming support for national sovereignty and opposing foreign interference. On the U.S.-Venezuela escalation, acting President Delcy Rodríguez dismissed Trump's claim, questioning Venezuela's leadership, even as officials signal a possible diplomatic opening on Maduro's fate. At The Hague, Netherlands, the International Court of Justice opened a landmark case against Myanmar over alleged genocide of the Rohingya, offering survivors a long-awaited chance for accountability. At Simonstown, BRICS navies, including China, Russia, Iran, and South Africa, began maritime drills to secure key shipping routes and strengthen joint operations. Sovereignty clash. Somalia canceled all UAE deals, accusing Abu Dhabi of undermining its sovereignty and political independence. Philippine presidential visit. Marcos Jr. arrives at the United Arab Emirates for a one-day working visit during Abu Dhabi's Sustainability Week. And at the Golden Globes, HBO Max's The Pitt won Best Drama, Apple TV's The Studio won Best Comedy, and singer Luffy faced a red carpet name mix-up. I am Carlo de la Peña. Newsline World starts now. For first news, the world's top court has opened in a landmark case in The Hague over allegations that Myanmar committed genocide against the Rohingya. As survivors and advocates say, the case represents a long-awaited chance for accountability. This story from Jane Cognita.
Judges at the International Criminal Court opened public hearings on Monday in the case brought by the Gambia. The African nation accuses Myanmar of violating the Genocide Convention during military operations in 2016 and 2017 that forced hundreds of thousands of Rohingya to flee from their homes.
We did not bring this case lightly. We brought this case after reviewing credible reports of the most brutal and vicious violations imaginable inflicted upon a vulnerable group that had been dehumanized and persecuted for many years.
Jallo told the court the case is about the lived experiences of Rohingya people, accusing Myanmar of turning their lives into what he described as a nightmare marked by widespread violence and destruction. Myanmar has consistently rejected the genocide allegation, saying its military carried out legitimate counter-terrorism operations against armed groups after deadly attacks on security forces. Myanmar's legal team is due to present defense arguments later this month. Outside the courtroom, Rohingya
Mapasasaan pa ang kalayaan kung ang mga alipin ngayon ay sila din naman mang-aalipin bukas.
Ibigin mo ang iyong bayan ng sunod kay bathala, sa iyong kapurihan at higit sa lahat sa iyong sarili.
Hindi natin mapapalaya ang ating mga sarili maliban kung sumunong tayo na nagkakaisa sa iisang hangarin.
Ang tunay na makabayan ay ang tumutupad ng pagpapabuti ng kanyang mga kapwa, gaano man kaaba ang kanyang katungkulan. Naway magsilbing paalala ang kanilang mga salita upang lalo nating mahalin at tapat na paglingkuran ang minamahal nating inang bayan.
For first news, the world's top court has opened in a landmark case in The Hague over allegations that Myanmar committed genocide against the Rohingya. As survivors and advocates say, the case represents a long-awaited chance for accountability. The story from Jane Cognita.
Judges at the International Criminal Court opened public hearings on Monday in the case brought by the Gambia. The African nation accuses Myanmar of violating the Genocide Convention during military operations in 2016 and 2017 that forced hundreds of thousands of Rohingya to flee from their homes.
We did not bring this case lightly. We brought this case after reviewing credible reports of the most brutal and vicious violations imaginable inflicted upon vulnerable group that had been dehumanized and persecuted for many years.
Jallo told the court the case is about the lived experiences of Rohingya people, accusing Myanmar of turning their lives into what he described as a nightmare marked by widespread violence and destruction. Myanmar has consistently rejected the genocide allegation, saying its military carried out legitimate counter-terrorism operations against armed groups after deadly attacks on security forces. Myanmar's legal team is due to present defense arguments later this month. Outside the courtroom, Rohingya representatives described the hearings as a turning point after years of displacement, trauma, and life in refugee camps.
We were destroyed, or we were systematically persecuted that amount to genocide that allegedly we believe that Myanmar has committed genocide, and this is the movement that we have been looking for.
More than 700,000 Rohingya fled Myanmar following the crackdown, with most now living in overcrowded camps in Bangladesh. While the court has no power to enforce its rulings, legal experts say a decision could carry major symbolic and legal weight.
The court can find Myanmar liable for the crime of genocide. It won't happen today. It will take around 6 to 12 months for the court to make that decision. The court to find Myanmar liable is extremely valuable for the Rohingya people. They've been fighting for international justice, not just since the 2017 clearance operations, but for decades.
Oral hearings are expected to continue for nearly 3 weeks, with a final decision likely months away, as the case unfolds under global scrutiny as a potential benchmark for future genocide prosecutions. This has been Jane Cognita, Global Citizen Correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Somalia has canceled all existing agreements with the United Arab Emirates, including port, security, and defense deals, accusing Abu Dhabi of undermining the country's sovereignty and political independence. In a statement issued on Monday, Somalia's cabinet said it had terminated agreements signed with UAE-linked government agencies, entities, and regional administrations. The move follows a cabinet meeting in Mogadishu, with officials saying the decision was taken to protect Somalia's national unity, territorial integrity, and constitutional order. The cancelled agreements include cooperation at key ports in Berbera, Bosaso, and Kismayo, which are strategically located along Somalia's northern and southern coastlines. Somali ministers said there was strong evidence that steps had been taken to undermine the country's political independence. As part of the decision, all bilateral agreements between Somalia and the UAE were revoked, including those covering security and defense cooperation. The Somali government reiterated its commitment to safeguarding sovereignty and urged international partners to respect Somalia's constitutional framework and territorial integrity. The announcement comes amid report that the UAE has begun withdrawing military equipment and senior personnel from Somalia. This followed Mogadishu's decision to ban UAE flights and cargo aircraft, citing a security breach involving unauthorized military aircraft entering Somali airspace. Naval forces from BRICS member states have formally begun a multinational maritime exercise in South Africa, focusing on joint operations to protect key shipping routes and regional trade. This report from Almar Fosuelo.
BRICS Naval Drill, dubbed Wheel for Peace 2026, got underway on Monday at Simonstown Naval Base with vessels from China, Russia, Iran, the United Arab Emirates, and host nation South Africa taking part. Warships were seen docked at the harbor, flying the flags of participating BRICS countries as crews prepared for the operational phase of the exercise. These vessels began arriving at the strategically located base over the weekend, ahead of the start of coordinated drills at sea. The BRICS Plus exercise runs from January 9 to 16. South Africa has defended the drills, calling them essential. The bloc says it's aimed at strengthening naval partnerships, enhancing collective maritime security, and building cooperation among participating states.
The theme of the exercise is joint actions to ensure the safety of shipping lanes and maritime economy activities. The exercise will normally focus on the anti-piracy activities and some other activities that are scheduled to take place during the sea phase.
BRICS began as a five-nation bloc: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and has since expanded to include Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, the United Arab Emirates, and Indonesia. Officials say the drills underline the growing role of BRICS navies in safeguarding international maritime routes critical to global commerce. The exercise comes just days after the U.S. seized a Venezuelan-linked Russian oil tanker in North Atlantic. Reporting for Newsline World, Almar Forsualo, SMNI News.
Up next, China criticized U.S. actions on Cuba, Iran, Greenland, Venezuela, and trade, reaffirming support for national sovereignty and opposing foreign interference. And acting President Rodríguez dismissed Trump's claim, questioning Venezuela's leadership, even as officials signal a possible diplomatic opening on Maduro's fate. More news when Newsline World returns.
Isang pindot lang, pwede kang maka-jackpot. Mukhang masaya at easy money lang. Sa murang halaga, pwede ka na tumaya sa online gambling at e-casino apps. Mayroong sabong, slot machines, mahjong, poker at iba pa. Kailangan mo lang ng smartphone, e-wallet at internet. Pero ang aliw na ito, unti-unting nagiging bitag para sa mga Pilipino. Lalo na kung ang paborito mong artista o influencer ang mukha ng app. Mas madaling makaengganyo, diba? Parang safe naman kasi may kilalang mukha. Pero sa likod ng ngiti, sugal pa rin ang itinutulak. At syempre, mas madali ring itago ang pagkalulong sa bisyong ito. Walang pisikal na kasino o pasugalan, walang kaharap, walang accountability, kaya't mas lumalala ang adiksyon. Dagdag pa rito, maraming online gambling apps at walang regulasyon. Sa likod ng mga makukulay na interface at papremyo, nakatago ang problemang bumabalot ngayon sa bansa, ang pagkalulong ng maraming Pilipino sa online gambling. Pwede maglaro kahit saan, kahit kailan, kahit sino, bata man o matanda, pwedeng malulong. Ayon sa mga eksperto, ang pagkakalulong sa online gambling ay nagdudulot ng matinding stress at anxiety, pagkakabaon sa utang, pagkawasak ng pamilya, pagkawala ng tiwala sa sarili. At tulad ng ibang bisyo, may mga senyales ito tulad ng hindi makapagpigil kahit walang pera, palihim na tumataya, pagpapabaya sa trabaho, pamilya o sarili. Sa bawat taya, may mga taong tunay na kumikita, mga malalaking negosyante at investors na negosyo ang bisyo ng masa. Para sa kanila, perang pumapasok lang ito, pero para sa ordinaryong Pilipino, kabuhayan at relasyon ang nauubos. At ang masakit, tila matagal itong nahayaan. Hindi ito naging prioridad ng mga nakaupo sa taas hanggang sa sobrang lumala at halos naapektuhan na ang buong komunidad. Ngayon, sa dami ng nalulung at sa laki ng pinsalang naidulot, sa kapalalong umugong ang mga panukalang batas para higpitan ng online gambling, gaya ng pagbabawal sa paggamit ng e-wallets para tumaya, pagtaas ng minimum bet, mas mahigpit na identity verification, pag-block ng mga illegal na gambling sites, at bawasan o ipagbawal ang mga ads na target ang kabataan. Maaari itong magmukhang laro lang, pero sa katotohanan, isa itong sugal sa kinabukasan. Ang kita na dapat sa mga pangunahing pangangailangan o ipon na uubos sa sugal. At sa mundo ng online gambling, mas madali kang matalo kaysa manalo. Huwag hayaang sugal ang magdikta sa iyong buhay. Isang paalala mula sa SMNI.
Venezuela's acting president Delcy Rodríguez has dismissed a claim circulated by U.S. President Donald Trump questioning who leads the country, as senior officials simultaneously signal a possible diplomatic opening with Washington focused on the fate of detained President Nicolas Maduro. Let's listen to this report. Acting President Delcy Rodríguez reaffirmed that she remains at the head of government, calling out what she described as fabricated online claims suggesting Trump was Venezuela's acting president.
Desde acá, bueno, nosotros ratificamos y reafirmamos la soberanía y la independencia de Venezuela. He visto por allí caricaturas en Wikipedia de quién manda en Venezuela. Bueno, aquí hay un gobierno que manda en Venezuela, aquí hay una presidenta encargada y hay un presidente rehén en los Estados Unidos. Y gobernamos junto al pueblo organizado.
Trump's post appears to be the only source of the claim, with what looks like an altered Wikipedia-style image. Wikipedia's official page does not list him as Venezuela's acting president. Trump has since said he hopes to visit Venezuela and meet with Rodríguez, saying Washington is getting along very well with the leadership. Meanwhile, Venezuela's Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello suggested that reopening embassies could help secure consular access for President Nicolas Maduro, who remains in the U.S. custody following the January 3rd military intervention.
El reinicio y la apertura de las embajadas de Venezuela en Estados Unidos y Estados Unidos en Venezuela. Eso nos va a permitir tener representación consular para que puedan estar velando por la seguridad y la tranquilidad de nuestro presidente Nicolás Maduro.
Cabello confirmed that exploratory talks are underway to restore diplomatic missions severed since 2019, while rejecting what he described as foreign interference in Venezuela's internal affairs.
Venezuela defiende su independencia, su soberanía y reclama al mundo que no haya más injerencia de los que se creen más poderosos.
The remarks come as U.S. officials make a rare visit to Caracas, and after Trump canceled plans, a second wave of military strikes just days ago, leaving Venezuela balancing sharp sovereignty rhetoric with cautious steps toward renewed engagement. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says documents for a security agreement with the United States are close to being signed, while warning that Russia is preparing a new wave of large-scale attacks against Ukraine. Zelensky said Ukraine is coordinating with envoys of US President Donald Trump on the timing of talks, adding that the core documents of the security deal are largely complete. He said the upcoming World Economic Forum in Davos is expected to play a key role in advancing relations with international partners, particularly in securing support for Ukraine's recovery after Russian strikes.
Наші документи багато в чому вже готові до підписання. Працюємо і для того, щоб створити дієві механізми фінансування відновлення, справедливі для України. Я дякую всім, хто допомагає нам.
Zelensky also highlighted the importance of economic provisions within the proposed agreements, saying Ukrainian officials must carefully review the terms to ensure a fair outcome. Meanwhile, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte said Ukraine has not yet decided whether it is prepared to make territorial concessions to end the conflict with Russia. The diplomatic push follows a declaration of intent signed earlier this month by Zelensky, French President Emmanuel Macron, and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, outlining plans to deploy peacekeeping troops in the event of a ceasefire. However, Zelensky struck a stark warning tone, claiming Ukrainian intelligence indicates Russia is preparing a major new attack.
Є інформація від розвідки. Росіяни готують новий масований удар, дрони для виснаження ППО і ракети. Хочу скористатися холодом. Найближчими днями цей удар може відбутись. Бережіть, будь ласка, себе. Бережіть Україну. І допомагайте тим, кому найскладніше і хто потребує підтримки. Разом все подолаємо. Слава Україні!
China's foreign ministry criticized U.S. actions on Cuba, Iran, Greenland, Venezuela, and trade issues, saying Beijing supports national sovereignty and opposes foreign interference. Joy Tabanao has more.
China's foreign ministry has issued a series of sharp criticisms of U.S. foreign policy, touching on issues from Cuba and Iran to Arctic geopolitics, Venezuela, and critical minerals supply chains. The remarks came during a regular press briefing in Beijing. Spokesperson Mao Ning reiterated Beijing's firm support for Cuba's sovereignty, calling on Washington to end its long-standing blockade, sanctions, and coercive measures, and instead take steps to promote regional peace and stability.
中方坚定支持古巴维护国家主权和安全，反对外来干涉。再次敦促美方立即停止对古巴的封锁制裁和任何形式的胁迫，多做有利于地区和平稳定的事情。
On tensions surrounding Iran, Mao said China hopes Tehran can overcome its current difficulties while maintaining national stability. She emphasized that China opposes interference in other countries' internal affairs and rejects the use or threat of force in international relations.
中方希望伊朗政府和人民能够克服当前的困难，保持国家的稳定。我们一贯反对干涉别国内政。 一贯主张各国的主权和安全都应当受到国际法的充分保护，反对在国际关系中使用武力或威胁使用武力。我们呼吁各方多做有利于中东和平稳定的事情。
Mao also addresses U.S. statements on Greenland, saying Arctic affairs involve the international community and must be guided by international law, with the rights and freedoms of all nations fully respected.
北极涉及国际社会的整体利益，中国在北极的活动旨在促进北极的和平稳定和可持续发展，符合国际法。各国依法在北极开展活动的权利和自由应当得到充分尊重。美国谋取私利，不要拿其他国家当借口。
The comments come after U.S. President Donald Trump reignited discussion over Greenland, warning that Russia or China could take control if the U.S. does not act.
If we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will take Greenland, and I am not going to let that happen. But Greenland should make the deal because Greenland does not want to see Russia or China take over. They don't go there. It's very far away from Greenland. And Greenland, basically, their defense is 2 dog sleds.
On trade issues, Mao defended China's strengthened export controls on dual-use items to Japan, saying they are legal measures to safeguard national security while fulfilling international obligations.
中方加强两用物项对日本的出口管制，是为了维护国家安全和利益，履行防扩散等国际义务，完全正当、合理、合法。中方维护关键矿产全球产供链稳定与安全的立场没有变化。同时，我们也认为各方都有责任为此发挥建设性作用。
Joy Tabanao, your citizen correspondent reporting for Newsline World.
When we return, Philippine President Marcos Jr. arrives in the United Arab Emirates for a one-day working visit during Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week. And at the Golden Globes, HBO Max's The Pitt won Best Drama, Apple TV's The Studio won Best Comedy, and singer Luffy faced a red carpet name mix-up. More news after the break.
Hala, magnanakaw!
Magnanakaw! Magnanakaw!
Uy, magnanakaw!
Magnanakaw! Magnanakaw!
Ano kayang gagawin ko? Ipamimigay ko yung konti para tumigil sila sa pag-iingay.
Pare, magnanakaw, namimigay ng pera.
Eto ang sayo.
Wow! Ang bait lang magnanakaw!
Eto naman sayo.
Kuya, yung
eto
share ko! Sana
Huwag ka nang maingay. Eto pa. Tama na yan. Nakikipalato lang kayo eh. Huwag nang maingay. Diba? Konti lang pinamigay ko, mabait na ako. Tahimik na sila. Easy. Ngayon, pwede ko na tong suluhin.
Masaya ang mga tao, pero tama po ba ito? Di po ba ang nakikinabang sa magnanakaw ay kasabwat ng magnanakaw?
Ikaw, kinukonsenti mo ba ang legal na korupsyon?
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has arrived in the United Arab Emirates for a one-day working visit, coinciding with his attendance at the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week. President Catarong reports.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. arrived in the United Arab Emirates around midnight on Monday for a one-day working visit at the invitation of UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. His plane landed at 11:09 p.m. at Al Batin Airport in Abu Dhabi, where he was warmly welcomed by UAE Minister of State Said Al-Hajjari, as well as Foreign Affairs Secretary Maria Teresa Lazaro and Philippine Ambassador to the UAE Alfonso Ver. During his visit, Marcos will participate alongside other heads of state and government officials at the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, an annual forum that serves as a platform for global cooperation to address present and future challenges. In a statement before his departure from the country, the president emphasized that the Philippines will actively engage in discussions on interconnected global issues, including energy, water, finance, food security, and environmental protection. Another significant aspect of the working visit is the signing of two major bilateral agreements between the Philippines and the UAE, the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or CEPA, and the Memorandum of Understanding on Defense Cooperation. The CEPA, a trade agreement between the Philippines and the UAE, is expected to significantly increase access for Filipino products in the Middle East market, particularly in the Gulf region. Meanwhile, the MOU on defense cooperation will establish a framework for collaboration on advanced defense technologies. According to President Marcos, these agreements will benefit not only the country, but also the estimated 900,000 Filipinos living in the UAE. Additionally, the President is scheduled to hold business meetings and engage with members of the Filipino community in the UAE. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Cresceline Catarong, SMNI News.
The Department of Agriculture has approved the Sugar Regulatory Administration's plan to export 100,000 metric tons of raw sugar to the United States. Sheena Torno has the news.
Agriculture Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr. announced that the country will export 100,000 metric tons of raw sugar to the United States. He said allocating part of the record harvest for export under the U.S. tariff rate quota will help absorb excess raw sugar, which has reached around 130,000 metric tons, to help support sagging farm gate prices. This move is expected to ease the downward price pressure that has plagued producers despite previous policy actions. The U.S. import quota was originally set at around 143,000 metric tons, but U.S. refiners adjusted it to 100,000 metric tons. Sugar Regulatory Administration Administrator Pablo Luis Ascona said the export approval reflects significantly higher output this crop year and is a timely step in balancing supply and demand. Ascona also flagged a surge in artificial sweetener and other sugar substitute imports, which is diluting demand for locally produced sugar and further contributing to softer prices. Secretary Laurel reiterated that the DA will closely monitor the importation of artificial sweeteners and sugar substitutes. He also plans to ask the Department of Health to review the potential public health implications of the widespread use of intense sweetening agents, which are often hundreds of times sweeter than sugar. Recent guidance from the World Health Organization suggests that non-sugar sweeteners may not offer clear long-term benefits for weight control and could pose health risk. Forgotten for my beloved Philippines, this has been Sheena Torno, SMNI News.
The Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, is now investigating the recall conducted by a well-known company for its infant milk formula. The FDA will determine the scope of the issue and its possible implications on public safety. This report from Margot Gonzalez.
The Food and Drug Administration supports the voluntary recall initiated by Nestle Philippines for its specific infant formula products for non-OptiPro and non-Kid OptiPro due to possible contamination or quality concerns. On January 9 this year, Nestle Philippines released a consumer notice regarding the recall. According to the FDA, although no adverse events have been reported, it fully supports this precautionary measure to protect public health, especially infants and young children. The FDA is closely coordinating with the company to identify the batch numbers of the affected products and to ensure their immediate removal from both physical and online markets. Consumers are advised to check the milk formula they are purchasing and to immediately stop buying any affected products. They may visit Nestle's official website to check whether the product they intend to buy is included in the recall. Consumers only need to refer to the batch number indicated on the box and foil packaging. The FDA will issue an official advisory to provide consumers with additional information and updates. The FDA will also continue post-market surveillance, inspections, and product testing to ensure that all products in the market comply with regulations and meet safety and quality standards. Any findings will be disclosed to the public in the interest of transparency and consumer protection. For God and my beloved Philippines, this has been Margaret Gonzalez, SMNI News.
Electricity consumers of Meralco in Metro Manila and parts of Luzon will get some relief this January after the power distributor implemented another reduction in electricity rates. Kai Villan has a story.
The electric company or Meralco implemented another decrease in electricity rates this January 2026, marking the second consecutive month of lower power charges. According to Meralco Vice President and Head of Corporate Communications, Joey Saldariaga, the overall electricity rate went down by 0.1637 pesos per kilowatt hour. This brought the rate down to 12.9508 pesos per kilowatt hour in January. This brought the rate down to 12.9508 pesos per kilowatt hour in January from 13.1145 pesos per kilowatt hour in December. For households consuming 200 kilowatt hours per month, this translates to an estimated 33 pesos reduction in their electricity bill. Those using 300 kilowatt hours may save between 49 pesos and 65 pesos. Saldariaga explained that the main driver of the rate cut was a 0.10 pesos per kilowatt hour reduction in transmission charges due to lower ancillary service costs from National Grid Corporation of the Philippines or NGCP. MSRP. Generation charges also declined by 0.171 pesos per kilowatt-hour, following lower prices from the wholesale electricity spot market and power supply agreements. Taxes and other charges likewise decreased by 0.0837 pesos per kilowatt-hour.
Posibleng magkaroon ng mild adjustment either way dahil sa reduction sa WSM. Sa per kilowatt-hour na tapyas mula sa WSM dahil sa mas bumuting supply situation sa Luzon grid.
One of those benefiting from the rate cut is Junel, a resident of Pasig City, who said that even a small reduction is a big help for his family, especially with daily expenses and their small business.
Sa akin lang, malaking tulong yun. Kasi katulad natin may pinapaaral, talagang ganun talaga yung sitwasyon natin. Kailangan mabawas-bawasan konti yung natin, mga expenses, di ba?
Meralco also clarified that it began collecting the Green Energy Auction Allowance, or GEA-AII, this month as 0.0371 pesos per kilowatt-hour to support renewable energy projects in compliance with the directive of the Energy Regulatory Commission. The continued decline in transmission and generation charges is expected to help ease household budgets nationwide, particularly for families with regular electricity consumption. Meanwhile, Meralco renewed its warning against the theft of power facilities following an incident in Quezon City that caused a temporary power outage affecting nearly 8,000 customers. The company stressed that such acts are dangerous and punishable under the Anti-Electricity Pilferage Act. Meralco urged the public to report any suspicious activities through the My Meralco app or the company's official social media accounts to help ensure safe and reliable electricity service. Reporting for Newsline World, Kai Villan, SMNI News.
Maging ligtas, maging handa. Narito ang ilang paalala kung sakaling tumama ang lindol. Maghanda ng emergency kits na may lamang flashlight, pito, first aid kit, tubig at pagkain. Alamin ang emergency exits sa inyong bahay, paaralan o opisina. Habang lumilindol, magtago sa ilalim ng matibay na lamesa upang maprotektahan ang sarili sa mga nahuhulog na bagay. Lumayo sa mga bintana at mabibigat na gamit na maaring mahulog. Kung ikaw ay nasa labas, lumayo sa mga gusali, puno o poste na maaaring matumba. Kung ikaw ay nagmamaneho, itabi at ihinto ang sasakyan at lumabas. Pagkatapos ng lindol, gamitin ang hagdan sa paglabas ng gusali at huwag gumamit ng elevator. Maging alerto sa aftershocks at manatili sa open space kung kinakailangan. Maging ligtas at maging handa sa anumang sakuna. Ang paalalang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng SMNI.
HBO Max's medical drama The Pitt won Best Drama Series at the Golden Globes, while Apple TV's Hollywood satire The Studio took home the award for Best Comedy Series. Meanwhile, singer Luffy drew attention at the 2026 Golden Globe Awards after photographers mistakenly called her by the wrong name while she posed on the red carpet at the Beverly Hilton. Blake Ann tells us more.
At the Golden Globe Awards, top honors were split between a hard-hitting medical drama and a sharp Hollywood satire. HBO Max The Pitt, a medical drama highlighting the intense pressures facing America's emergency rooms, won Best Drama Series at the Golden Globe Awards. Meanwhile, The Studio, a Hollywood satire from Apple TV, took home the award for Best Comedy Series, earning praise for its behind-the-scenes take on the entertainment industry. The Pitt centers on Dr. Michael Roby Rubinovich, portrayed by Noah Weil, as he navigates the high-stress environment of the Pittsburgh Trauma Medical Center's emergency room. The series has drawn attention for its realistic depiction of understaffed hospitals and the emotional toll on medical workers. The wins highlight the Golden Globe's recognition of socially relevant storytelling alongside sharp industry satire. Singer Leve found herself at the center of attention at the 2026 Golden Globe Awards after a case of mistaken identity on the red carpet. The Icelandic Chinese artist made headlines after photographers misidentified her during her appearance at the Golden Globes held at the Beverly Hilton in Los Angeles. Leve attended the ceremony wearing an orange Balenciaga gown, styling her hair in an elegant ponytail as she posed for photos along the red carpet. In a video shared by Deadline on X, the From the Start singer can be seen smiling for cameras when one photographer mistakenly called her Megan, prompting reactions online and sparking conversation about recognition of emerging artists. The moment quickly went viral, with fans praising Leve's grace and humor as she continues to rise in the global music scene. And that's all for now. I'm Blake Ed, bringing you the latest showbiz.
Filipino tennis star Alex Ayala has reached a new career milestone, climbing into the WTA Top 50 after an impressive semifinal appearance at the ASB Classic in Auckland, New Zealand. Meanwhile, reigning NBA Most Valuable Player Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led Oklahoma City to a strong home win over Miami, while Anthony Edwards delivered a late-game winner to lift Minnesota past San Antonio. Here's a report.
Alex Ayala leaped to 4 places from world number 53 to number 49, amassing 1,159 ranking points following her semifinal finish at the ASB Classic, marking the highest ranking of her young career. The 20-year-old Filipino built momentum throughout the tournament, recording wins over 3 top 80 opponents to solidify her position among the world's elite. She secured notable victories against Croatia's Donna Vekic and Petra Marchenko before overpowering Poland's Magda Linette in straight sets during her run in Auckland. Ayala opened the year with 1,076 points and quickly added 83 more, signaling a strong start as she heads into her much-anticipated Australian Open debut. In a message shared on social media, Ayala reflected on the importance of support and community over the past year, expressing excitement for new challenges, bigger goals, and meaningful moments in the season ahead. With her career high ranking, Ayala now sets her sights on sustaining her rise and reaching new heights on the WTA Tour. Gilgeous-Alexander scored 29 points, adding 8 assists and 5 rebounds as the Thunder pulled away in the second half to defeat the Heat 124-112. Oklahoma City outscored Miami 73-53 after halftime, improving their league best record to 33-7, thanks to stronger defense and a more fluid offensive game. Thunder guard Aaron Wiggins said the team's defensive focus in the second half allowed them to generate stops, push the pace in transition, and find their offensive rhythm. Meanwhile, Minnesota rebounded from a loss at Cleveland by narrowly edging the visiting Spurs 104-103. Anthony Edwards clinched the win with a clutch bank shot with 16.8 seconds remaining, completing the Timberwolves' last-minute comeback.
Teams took to a frozen river for an ice dragon boat racing event, showcasing teamwork and coordination as competitors and visitors embraced the challenge and excitement of the unique winter sport. Valdivina Gracia has the story.
A unique winter sporting event is drawing crowds and competitors alike as ice dragon boat racing combines tradition, teamwork, and icy conditions into a thrilling spectacle. On a frozen river, teams race dragon boats across sleek ice, testing balance, coordination, and collective strength. Participants say the icy surface makes the sport far more challenging than traditional water-based dragon boat racing.
我觉得冰上划龙舟这个感觉就是特别新奇，然后它和水上不一样的是，就是冰面上它比较滑，然后会更加考验团队这个落桨的这样的配合。
Despite mixed results, competitors say the experience itself was unforgettable.
我们这一次比赛的成绩是初赛是第3名，然后第2轮比赛是最后1名。因为这是我们第一次参加这样的比赛，然后让我觉得最刺激的时候就是 我们出赛的时候，在最后那面10米的时候，然后我们和另外一个队就是差距比较小，然后那个时候大家就是一起呐喊1-2-1-2，然后这种感觉就是让我记忆犹新，比较难忘。
Other racers highlighted how ice dragon boating demands a different kind of power and teamwork.
它这个最大的区别是，水上龙舟呢比较侧重，因为它技术框架都一样，但是水上龙舟比较侧重于前弧和前把，但是冰上呢就侧重于类似于高山越野滑雪一样，需要抓你这个后把的力量，把这个力量全部导到后边去。然后呢，也是需要靠这个合力，就是团结协作这个力量。也不是个人项目，还是需要团队的。
Mr. Zhu's team achieved strong results, taking first place in the 200-meter straight race and second in the 400-meter drift. Beyond the races, the event featured food stalls and winter activities, drawing enthusiastic visitors.
感受了滑雪、滑冰车，然后那边我看还有市民在游泳，还尝了他们的铁锅炖，然后冰糖葫芦。这个赛事我觉得准备的也非常的周到，然后组委会安排的也非常的合理，包括观众在这边看的也很有热情，很有活力。虽然是大冬天，但是看的人心里暖暖的，非常好。
Organizers say the event not only showcases a unique winter sport, but also brings people together to celebrate tradition, teamwork, and the spirit of the season. Reporting for Newsline World, this is Val Divina Gracia, SMNI News.
China continues to invest in drone technology for both commercial and humanitarian applications. Recently, Beijing unveiled its first multi-purpose cargo drone capable of carrying up to 1 ton of relief supplies, aiming to boost emergency response and logistical operations. Daniela Paulite has the details.
Rolled out its first multi-purpose cargo drone, capable of delivering 1 ton of relief goods to remote or disaster-hit areas. The drone, designed for rapid transport in disaster zones and remote areas, represents a significant step forward in unmanned cargo technology. It can carry food, medical aid, and essential equipment over long distances, potentially improving emergency response capabilities. Engineers say the aircraft is highly versatile, able to operate in harsh weather conditions and on rough terrain, making it ideal for humanitarian missions and logistical support. Officials noted that the new cargo drone could play a vital role in speeding up relief efforts during natural disasters, from floods and earthquakes to other emergencies, by delivering aid quickly and efficiently. Reporting for Newsline World, Daniela Paulite, SMNI News.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the words of the sun. Every day may not be good, but there's something good in every day. And that's all for today's edition of Newsline World. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, I'm Carlo de la Peña. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.